Hello and welcome to FAIR's Weekly Update. These are the top stories you need to know. As threats of global terrorism increase, our borders remain out of control. In the early hours of October 7th, the world got a tragic reminder of the price that can be paid for failing to secure a nation's borders. By the end of the week, Hamas leadership was calling for global jihad, making it clear that any country can be targeted. Meanwhile, new data regarding the number of people on the terror watch list encountered at ports of entry and between them highlight just how vulnerable we are. During the first 11 months of fiscal year 2023, 154 individuals on the FBI terror watch list were encountered entering the United States between ports of entry. That was more than the combined total encountered between 2017 and 2022. Another 505 were encountered brazenly attempting to cross the southern and northern borders through ports of entry. Those 659 encounters of suspected terrorists are the ones we know about. We should be worrying about the ones we don't know about. Some 1.7 million known gotaways have crossed our borders since President Biden took office, and many more, and we don't know how many, were neither detected nor encountered. The gotaways often have good reasons to avoid being encountered. Undoubtedly, there are many more people with ties to terror groups that we don't know about, and thousands more special interest aliens, described as non-U.S. persons, who, based on an analysis of travel patterns, potentially pose a national security risk to the United States or its interests, have also been encountered. DHS concedes that our porous borders are a national security threat. A recent DHS assessment warned that terrorists and criminal actors may exploit the elevated flow and increasingly complex security environment to enter the United States. The report also noted individuals with terrorism connections are interested in using established travel routes and permissive environments to facilitate access to the United States. And yet, despite new and heightened threats, our borders remain as porous as ever. In other news, a document recently issued by ICE reveals that the agency is monitoring a record 5.7 million migrants. Under a new plan to manage them, they could become eligible for a broad range of public services. The document outlines how ICE intends to keep track of the ever-growing number of migrants in the United States under a new release and reporting management plan, which it hopes to implement in the coming months. It also makes it clear that American taxpayers can expect to be stuck with a very hefty bill. According to the RRM, these are services that participants can expect to receive: legal assistance, psychological services, therapeutic services, food and clothing banks, housing, public transportation, parental information, educational information, and reintegration services. The Biden administration notes that execution of this plan would require additional funding. Yeah, no kidding. The thinking behind offering this broad menu of services is that it will increase participant compliance with immigration obligations through information stabilization and support. Services will be individualized to each participant's needs and may range from basic referrals to intensive direct assistance. It would also increase the already considerable incentives for people to come to the United States illegally. Essentially, this is just the latest attempt from the Biden administration to abolish ICE by turning the agency into a welfare and social services provider. Those were this week's top stories. Thank you for watching.